We're back to discuss Bridge of Spies, and if you saw our review, we were like, Tom, Mr. Hanky Hanks. Not this time. Didn't work. Here's the problem, and here's what I think they were going for. I think they followed, the actual events and things that happened. I think it was supposed to be tense when the guy was on trial. Like, would they kill him? Would they not kill him? Would he be imprisoned? All of that sort of stuff. There was zero tension in any of that. I never was worried for the guy. I was never worried for Tom Hanks. Like, they shot up his house. I wasn't worried for anybody when that happened.
Nope.
And then...
kind of hoping the daughter got shot.
Well, and and then Tom Hanks predicts, like, 30 minutes before the end of the trial, like, in movie time, 30 minutes before the end of the trial, well, maybe we'll need him later. To trade him for somebody else. Right. In a couple of years. Yeah. And then a couple of years go by, and they're like, yeah, you're right, we need to trade him for somebody else. So... I think it's supposed to be like this series of tensions and showing like what a great negotiator he is and how he's working the machinations of all of these things. But because they can't give you more information about the other side without completely unraveling the plot and completely unraveling what the other people want and what their intentions are, it just becomes like Tom Hanks on a train, Tom Hanks being cold, talking to some guy, and then talking to some other guy, and on and on and on it goes. And just real quick before I forget about it, you asked about like the girl in the red coat thing. The one little like bit that was like that they put in there was...
the scene at the wall.
Yeah, there was the scene at the wall in Berlin, and then there was a scene when he got home, when he was riding the train and a bunch of kids jumped a fence.
It was nice. There was a nice parallel there.
I mean, it's Spielberg. He's going to do cool stuff like that, but...
Spielberg, his movies have lost their teeth. Like, they just don't hit hard enough. And this one suffered from the fact that you knew from the trailer, from all the posters, that it was about a spy exchange. So the first half, you're right, there is no tension in the courtroom scenes because you know that he's going to be okay because they have to exchange him.
Right.
So there's no point to that part other than to show that he's being railroaded.
Right. And Tom Hanks has been in more tense episodes of Bosom Buddies.
Yeah.
If he showed up at the courtroom wearing a dress, that would have made this a far more interesting film.
If the spy had been Peter Scolari, that would have been amazing.
If they would have had Vladimir Putin just like make his way in there, like, hello, I'm Vladimir. Just like as a young child, that would have been a lot better. And Tom Hanks predicts, I bet he'll be a powerful man someday. That's what I was thinking, like that kid who talked to him. Right. It's like, you'll be powerful one day. I'm out of here.
Here's what killed me. Like, is all the things that happened in the Cold War. This could have been interesting, but the movie did not make it so. And then at the very end, when they give here's what they did later in life, they talk about the Bay of Pigs, which sounds infinitely more interesting.
No, it doesn't. Not from the perspective of that guy. That guy went and negotiated a bunch of hostage releases.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, that's the exact movie we just watched.
But he went from 1,000
from 1,000 to 9,000.
Okay.
That's amazing.
Okay. But one country... Tom Hanks sits in Cuba. That's a 2.5-hour movie that you want to watch?
No, I'm just saying it was more interesting
than a college kid and that guy who got shot down once.
A college kid.
I disagree. I think it's much more complicated to deal with two foreign governments as a non-government agent and negotiate the fact that you're having to do it in East Berlin.
What about Cuba versus and Russia? It's just East Berlin and Russia. Because Cuba, actually, they were talking about putting missiles there.
Yeah.
Whereas no one was talking about putting missiles in East Berlin.
Not sure the two stories match up, but
If you want to see an interesting movie on the Cuba crisis, see 13 Days with Kevin Costner. That came out back in the mid-90s. And that was a room of just people sitting around talking, but you had Bruce Greenwood playing President Kennedy, which was awesome.
I think just a GoPro of 13 Days of Kevin Costner would have been more interesting.
Probably. Because that was actually a tense movie, because it's like, ooh, a nuclear war could start, but if you read a history book, or if you ever talk to your dad, you know that it didn't.
Yeah.
One,
Or anything.
one thing that bothered me about this movie is they drop little things to build characters around Tom Hanks that never like amount to anything or even are mentioned again. Like when he's first sitting with his family, his daughter comes in. Oh, I've been stood up, and then
And it's clearly the kid who works for him.
yeah,
Right.
and then they're never even seen again.
But they also make it clear that Tom Hanks knows knows that he did that.
Yeah, because he says, oh, he's that kid's age, or whatever, to the, not Powers, but the prior kid.
No, like even when it happens, he's like, "Oh, sounds like a terrible young man to do such a thing."
Oh, hey, he's here.
Oh, hey, how are you?
But they just
Sit down to dinner. We're having
Well,
meatloaf.
You know why that is? Because I didn't realize until just before I came out to this movie that Joel and Ethan Coen had tampered with the screenplay somewhat. And that both excited and worried me about this movie. Excited because I love anything the Coen brothers do, but also worried because I'm like, oh my god, are they going to take a Steven Spielberg, Tom Hanks collaboration and turn it into Raising Arizona? Is that what this is going to be? Because that would be awesome. But no,
that'd be awesome.
but there were, a handful of times where you could detect their witticisms in the dialogue, and I'm like, okay, that's definitely the Coen brothers right there. And like you said, Aaron, yeah, it just quickly gets swept under the rug. Like Spielberg's like, oh, I'm sorry, we got something funny in there. Let's focus back on this commentary of the Cold War.
Well, yeah. I mean, even the spy who actually has a characterization really comes down to just a catchphrase,
Yep. Would it help?
and that's it. That's his whole.
And,
Yeah.
and it's, would it help if I panicked? It was ultimately the thing that he always, because he's like,
Yeah.
aren't you panicking? And he goes, would it help? And that's ultimately what Tom Hanks shows in all of his scenes, is like when everyone else is panicking, he goes, no, I shouldn't panic right now, I should show strength or whatever. It was a little bit cheesy in doing that, but it was kind of cool.
Plus, the Coen brothers deal exclusively in botched kidnappings, and this was kind of a botched kidnapping on a massive scale. So you knew they had to get involved in
fuck,
some
dude.
way, right?
Yeah, I also did keep waiting for Jesse Plemons to screw everything up because he always is the one that screws everything up.
every time I see him, I'm like, why is he in this?
Jesse Plemons is awesome, but he always screws everything up.
That's fair. That's what he does.
That's Bruges Spies. If you like the way we do these, please like the video, subscribe, check out all the written and video reviews at dalemaxfield.com, and thanks for watching.